The COVID-19 pandemic has hit older adults harder than any other age groups when it comes to mortality rates. As seniors navigate life trying to avoid COVID-19, they're also faced with another issue: separation. In this special report, I bring multiple aspects of how the pandemic is affecting the lives of seniors.
Yeah, I got another sister that lives over there about 8 blocks.
A simple conversation means the world to John Fisher because most days
Nobody ever stops by hardly, so.
It's just him and his apartment.
Me and my apartment, We're best buds.
The 64-year-old lives at Brooks Landing Senior Community in Brooklyn Park.
It gets pretty old, you just sit in your apartment and almost talk to yourself,
And in the midst of a pandemic, it's too risky to go anywhere else.
You could still have a little overweight, I've had a couple heart attacks, had a couple of strokes.
Also, going on 2 years with throat cancer, Fisher is losing hope.
It's not a pandemic, it's an endemic, it's never going to end.
Everybody's busy with their own.
About 10 miles away in a Brooklyn Center apartment, CATHIE GUERRIDO is also trying to pass the time.
I like to make things, I like doing crafts. I look at a lot of YouTube. I like to watch different ministries.
But GUERRIDO can only do so much with her medical history.
Oh my, so much. Well, I have diabetes and I had a partial foot amputation. And so I've been dealing with an ulcer on my foot before the pandemic.
COVID-19 delayed all of GUERRIDO's medical appointments. And with an amputated foot, driving isn't an option.
I have to use a taxi to go to my appointments, and so that's another thing. It makes you not want to. You don't know how many people have been in the taxi and things like that.
To avoid COVID-19, seniors like GUERRIDO and Fisher stay close to home, where only limited friends and families can visit. But dodging the disease isn't easy, especially when loneliness kicks in and families are separated.
A lot of sleepless nights, right? You're worrying about him nonstop, and you're like, is he going to be okay? How many more falls can he sustain?
June LINNERTZ went through an emotional first 3 months of the pandemic when her dad, Jim Gill, lived in a memory care unit at Cherrywood Point of Plymouth.
We could call, and that was a struggle for him to pick up the phone, but we were able to communicate with him that way.
LINNERTZ says her dad couldn't understand why nobody was visiting him and why he was stuck in his room.
You could tell he was deteriorating.
Eventually, Gill was placed in hospice, and LINNERTZ was able to see him in person for the first time in 3 months.
You're confined to 500 square feet in your own room all by yourself, all day long. That's a long day, and you're going to deteriorate very quickly, and that's what happened to our dad.
Just 2 days later, LINNERTZ's father died. That final visit meant everything to her.
There's guilt too, right? There's guilt that, was there something more I could have done for my dad? I can't imagine what was going through his head.
June LINNERTZ isn't alone when it comes to losing a loved one during the pandemic. COVID-19 has taken a disproportionate toll on seniors when it comes to mortality rates. The Centers for Disease reports that 8 out of 10 COVID-19 deaths in the country have been in adults 65 years old and older. In Minnesota, 86% of the state's COVID-19 deaths have been aged 65 and above. And among the more than 2,000 Minnesotans who have died from COVID-19 related complications in Minnesota, about 75% had been living in long-term care or assisted living facilities. There are ways we can help our elderly loves during this difficult time. I sat down with Bob Anderson, a social worker for Senior Community Services based in Minnetonka. We began by asking him how isolation can lead to health challenges for seniors.
As people remain close to home and socially distance themselves from others, is it can lead to anxiety and depression are two of those main factors that we encounter with individuals.
What are some of the growing needs in the seniors communities?
A lot of older adults that we work with, transportation continues to be, and I think that has not changed that continues to be a need out there for a lot of individuals that don't drive or are hesitant to go out into the community.
How can family and friends help to alleviate some of that isolation or loneliness?
Sure, certainly checking in with them. If it's not daily, it's several times a week, to call and inquire and listen and show you're caring about your loved one.
Many communities in the Northwest Metro have helped bridge the isolation gap. Brooklyn Park Police and the City of Plymouth have encouraged volunteers to write to seniors through programs such as Dear Gigi and Plymouth Post.
I mean, when's the last time anybody actually received a card, handwritten, saying, I care about you, I'm concerned about you, I want you to know that you are loved and you're not alone? I mean, how amazing of an impact could that be?
I think it was just really a chance for community members to step up and engage with one another in a way that was safe.
CEAP, a Brooklyn Center-based food shelf, also stepped up to make sure those they serve feel cared for. Meals on Wheels volunteers make weekly care calls to about 150 participants.
If I can sense that they're lonely that day or maybe a little down, I'll take whatever extra time needs to, try and cheer their spirits, or just, give them that ear to talk to.
There are ways you too can help elderly loved ones during this time. If you or a loved one needs resources such as home delivered meals, prescription drug delivery, transportation, or help in your home, you can call the number on the screen or visit our website for more information at ccxmedia.org. For CCX News, I'm Pafua Yang.